The loss of Pope Benedict XVI. The former pope passed away this morning in the Mater Ecclesiae Monastery in the Vatican. The Vatican first announced the former pope had become ill on Wednesday. The pontiff resigned in 2013, a nearly unprecedented move in papal history that had not been seen since Pope Gregory XII's resignation in 1415. At the time, Pope Benedict cited advanced age as the reason for his resignation. Bishop William Byrne of the Springfield Diocese issued a statement regarding the passing of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, saying, quote, "I join with Pope Francis in mourning the death of Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. He brought profound theological insight into our church. Among the many gifts of his pontificate, Pope Benedict XVI helped us explain the new evangelization to the world to proclaim Christ anew." Pope Benedict was 95 years old.